Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Here we are at AwesomeCon 2021 for this episode of This Week in Review. As always, I'm your host, Brandon Troy, and I'm here with
Jerome Bourgeois, co-creator, co-founder. How's everything, man? I told you guys we're going to be on location this time. But this time we're in D.C.
Right.
Washington Convention Center, Awesome Con. First con
back,
during
man.
I wouldn't say post-pandemic, but
right
in the middle of the pandemic when it's a little bit better.
For sure. So thanks for joining us, wherever you're watching from, or even if you watch this, much later after it's already gone live. Just a couple of reminders to drop for you guys just to let you know. If you are watching this show and you want to be a part of the conversation, make sure you are hitting that hashtag that you know, which is This Week in Review, TWNRMNSU. So that's This Week in Review, Movers and Shakers Unlimited, of course. And also make sure that you become a Patreon supporter as well, as we have tons of content that you guys can enjoy. But we have some cool perks for those of you that are, our Patreon supporters. Of course, as always, we want to shout out to Joel, who is one of our Patreon supporters. So thank you so much, Joel.
Shout out, sis.
Shout out. All right. So, as I said, and for this episode, this is going to be a unique episode in that much of the stories that we're going to be talking about today are very con specific. But since we're here at Awesome Con, we spent the weekend here, Jerome, and had a chance, obviously catch up with some old faces, some new faces. But overall, since you've had an opportunity to go to AwesomeCon for a number of years, how has this year stacked up for you?
I mean, I was kind of even surprised about how many people were here. I mean, I know yesterday it was Friday, weren't as many people, obviously because they don't get as many. But I know we were debating kind of like how many people are going to be here today.
Yeah,
it's obviously not the same as before, but it's still a lot. I mean, I think it could be a possibility of also just how we were talking about like how they organize everything, how it's spaced out. But it still looks like it's almost normal because everyone's wearing masks. I mean, and you got everybody, you got tons of cosplayers, and people getting creative with the masks. I saw this Joker cosplayer did like a Joker smile on his mask, and I was telling people, I was like, probably the best costume in this pandemic time, if you went for your mask, is probably if you're trying to be like Melina or like Katana or Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat or Scorpion,
For sure.
But anyway, no, it's been good. I mean, we've been I was quite surprised, and seeing some of the celebs signing, it's just funny. We were trying to see how we were gonna do some interviews maybe, but everyone's in their mask and they have the plexiglass, and it's just different. But I'm not complaining. It's better than nothing. It's better than just everything virtual. So, got to do one step forward. So
exactly, and I mean it's been interesting because I commented, for those of you that follow me on social media. I was commenting on it yesterday, and how weird it was to be back in person. Like if you've been following many of the content that we've been doing in the last year and a half, a lot of it obviously has not been in person. It has been virtual. So, I'll be honest, I kind of got accustomed to, just doing the show and, having folks on the show from the comfort of their home or wherever they were, if they were, on location somewhere on a film that they were doing, or, on location at a particular event that they were, that they just happened to be at. It was you'll hear it once, you've heard it many times, I'm sure. It was the new normal. It was something that I was actually just getting acclimated to, and it was a little jarring, I'll be honest, to be back here and to kind of be back in the swing of things and back in the routine, for sure. But still, with that being said, it's great to, as I said, see a lot of people that are regulars that when it comes to cons. While it's great to and I've said it many times, while it's great to go to see a lot of the guests and to enjoy a lot of the programming and to be able to see the exhibit hall floor and things of that nature, at the end of the day, it's about the people that you share with. So like, friends that have become family, hence the the special edition episodes that I did with Comic-Con, and it was good to actually see a lot of them in person. Because I mean, some I have seen in person, but there have been some that like we literally have not seen each other for a year and a half in person. So it was good to see them. Um, Now, with that being said, I wanted to hop into a few of the other shows that are on the way because, similar to what was the case here of obviously wearing masks as you see that we're doing now, and also having other things in place in terms of policies of having temperature checks and things like that. We're going to be seeing a lot more of it. Just as I just said a moment ago of the new normal. That's going to be the new normal for our upcoming shows too. So over the course of this week, getting information about Repop and getting information about Dragon Con. Dragon Con is what, in a couple of weeks, in Atlanta. So a lot of those shows now are going to be requiring vaccination. So, what are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that? Share.
I think you probably already know how I feel about that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, this COVID situation does not seem to be going away anytime soon. Even if we're not going back to straight up lockdowns, I mean, wearing a mask it seems to be, the new normal for a while, at least indoors. I mean, honestly, I think they should. I mean, I'm a proponent for, having people either require people to get vaccinated or they have to do testing. I mean, I know, there's obviously controversy behind like forcing people to get vaccinated but I mean, obviously, if you can't obviously force people to get vaccinated, I mean, there's going to be more and more venues and events that are going to just be like, hey, we want, we're looking out for everybody. We want to try and increase the safety, prevent people from spreading the disease. They're going to probably be like, yeah, you want to come in? You're going to have to show your vaccine card or have the testing. Or they might just be like, no, you just have to show the vaccine card. Even though those, it's debatable about, is the card enough? I mean, should there maybe have a digital barcode? I don't know. And at least do like, temperature checks. My only thing though is every time I keep hearing about these different, requirements or whatever, it's just, I just don't really I haven't seen yet where they're really enforcing any of that. So I don't know here. I mean, there wasn't anything like that, like forcing us to take a temperature check or anything like that. But I mean, they're requiring everyone to wear masks. So I've seen most people abide by that. They weren't really like, I mean, obviously if you've got to eat or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we were doing interviews with masks on. We weren't even going to try it. So, the guests are wearing masks, the vendors, the exhibitors. Only time people really might be taking off is like some of the panels.
Yeah.
When they're talking, that makes sense. But even at the panel we were filming, you guys saw streamed.
Live streamed.
Who's worthy enough of wielding Mjolnir?
Yeah.
Yeah, only some of them took off their masks briefly, but yeah, I mean that's fine. Everyone's wearing a mask, so I don't have an issue with that. I mean, we're going to see what happens this week when we hit up Vegas and try to maybe go to some of these CinemaCon events, and I know they're requiring either your vaccine card that you're vaccinated or that you have tests. So I think we're going to see more and more of this. I mean, another story stories that are kind of related. I kept seeing in Variety and Deadline. There's been a few concerts that have been canceled. And I can only imagine it's because of the Delta variant and just people trying to be more safe. But, I don't know how else are you going to go to a concert unless you have some sort of protocol of like, hey, show that, it's like I said, if everyone's not going to get vaccinated, you have to either show that you tested, that you're negative and you wear a mask or you show that you're vaccinated. I mean, I don't know how else you can get around it. Yeah. I mean, this thing is spreading. I mean, it's not just Delta. There's also Lambda.
It's not even that. I mean, I know some shows are not, and to answer your question, hopefully that answers your question, Matt's Feather. I know you were asking, is everyone there?
Yeah, we are.
Yes, they are. So I guess just the takeaway overall for me is just making sure that people are wearing masks and being safe. I know some shows, they don't want to cross, that plateau of requiring people to get vaccinated. However, I understand it because at the same time, we have to remember, guys, that at the end of the day, we enjoy a lot of cons, but they're business. They are at the end of the day a business. And they have to have ways to ensure the safety of the people, not just the people that come to their events, but also the guests that they are hosting, and also the staff members that they have that are volunteering and providing their time. And you have to also remember in a lot of cases like that, they aren't getting paid. As I said, volunteers, so doing it out of the kindness of their hearts because they love this event. So it would behoove the event to ensure the safety of every facet of that show and all the people that are involved in that show, because cons are such massive undertakings. I know all of us, we there's a tendency for fans a lot of times to like nitpick over certain things and to kind of have issue with certain aspects of the show. But at the end of the day, you have to understand cons have all of these moving parts, and sometimes just to make it easier and to ensure, as I said, that safety, you just have to kind of put your foot down and have to ensure that you are looking out for everyone that's involved in your show in any capacity that they are involved in it. But did you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I just feel like I said, I feel like this is a new normal until we get a majority of the people in this country vaccinated and the virus begins to dissipate and it becomes more like the flu. But I mean, and vaccines aren't the only thing. I mean, we get, some of these we might have to get booster shots. So, there's got to be some sort of happy compromise. And I mean, people are just gonna have to adapt, or they're just not gonna be able to go to some of these events. I mean, I feel like that's where we're going.
And then I was going to say, and another caveat to that is, a lot of times the reason why these events are ensuring, that vaccination piece is because, for that very reason that, trying to provide, or what's the term that I'm looking for, trying to provide that convenience for those that don't like wearing masks. So like, you have some instances where places are requiring vaccination so that they don't have to require people to wear masks. So I mean, I believe
some areas are still requiring you wear masks, even if you are.
Some places are requiring you to do it anyway, but in some cases, give me an example. I mean, I'll look it up, but I mean, last I checked, Vegas is they have it in place for their events where if you're able to show that you are vaccinated and you have that verification card, that in that space that they have for their event, they're not requiring folks to wear masks. So I don't know how long that's going to last, obviously, because as we've been talking about this time, like this situation that we're dealing with, with the pandemic and all these various different variants, so to speak, is making this conversation continually this situation to continually evolve. So things that may have been prevalent just a week ago, may no longer be prevalent, or may no longer be the policy of, how events are being carried out or executed. But no, like it'll be interesting to see how those other events that we mentioned. So C2E2, New York Comic Con, Dragon Con, how it's going to look, because I'm so used to each of those shows being like, these big spectacles of, tons and tons of people. And that's not to say that, like today, give me an example. I know we were here yesterday and we were here today, and there was a significant, I mean, you can agree with this. There was a significant difference in the amount of people that we had from yesterday to today. Mind you, we're used to having people be shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't anything like that, but it was still noticeably fuller than it was yesterday. So like your thoughts on that, on what may be coming, down the line. I mean, I think you touched on it just now, but maybe add, some additional thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like everybody is just gonna look at what they think works, and then they'll adapt or add to it and adjust. So I don't know. I mean, and also like the location. But even with the location, it's even if a location is more relaxed compared to another city or county or whatever, or state, people still might want to take precautions. So I mean, I feel like different cons are going to just, make their decisions based on what they've seen as that's worked, and maybe just adapt and adjust. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. My only thing is I'm also wondering if, regardless, I mean, even though, like I said, it was busier and there was a good amount of people, I'm wondering if they just also, were forced to like limit how many tickets they could sell for capacity, because
Could be, yeah.
Because I mean, even so, I mean, it's a decent amount of people, but it's not like, I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's everybody's they're gonna have to adjust. I mean, you go to even though we've been going to movie theaters for a little bit, I mean, those are pretty packed, but still, I don't know if they're not always as packed as they could have been. So, I mean, this thing is very fluid, so we're gonna have to just see how it is. But all I know is, I mean, I don't mind going to some more of these. I mean, I'm down. Everyone's just got to make their own decision based on
what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, what they're comfortable with, and who family and who they're
But the only thing that I would say is try if that is the case, whatever the event is, do your research. Do your research, not just what the show is doing, but also do your research on what that state is doing. If you're obviously going to a con in a different state, do your research on how they're implementing things as well, because you don't want to get there and then kind of get surprised as to what the protocols are or the policies are. So you want to be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly.
But with that being said, this is not going to be a super crazy long show. It's actually going to be a more piecemeal show, a smaller show. Before I let you go, Jerome, can you tell folks where they can find you, man?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk a little bit about. What we're doing today. Just
I'm sorry.
I mean, I know we're gonna. I know it's a short show, but real quick, let's just do a little recap of what we saw so far.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's been a day, guys.
I know it is. Yeah.
It's been a day. But so we were here yesterday. We had a chance. As I said, I feel like a lot of what this weekend has been is it's kind of like I hate to say it's kind of like Cheers, where you have that kind of like catchphrase where everybody knows your name. So like you come back, people haven't seen each other in a long time, and it was interesting because I talked about this with prior shows, like with shout out to Emily, who does a lot of the content with us here, Emily Wooden. And when she went to Pensacon, in Florida, she was talking about that at that first show being back. It was interesting to see how people were interacting. We're good friends and we know each other very well, but we haven't seen each other in a year and a half. Do you feel comfortable? I know you're vaccinated, but like, do you feel comfortable, bumping elbows or doing a fist pound or just waving? Or, in some cases, like, maybe you're comfortable doing more than that. But, like, it was interesting to kind of have that dynamic with a lot of people that are friends that you haven't seen in a while. Of saying, okay, hey, how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah.
And then kind of trying to read the situation of reading, like, what greeting they were comfortable with due to obviously everyone socially distancing. So that part of it was fascinating, of them trying to figure out, okay, should we do an elbow bump, should we do a fist pound, should we do a handshake, like what are those three greetings are you comfortable in doing? And then even outside of that, it was also cool, being able to kind of get back into the routine of things, because as I said, it was kind of jarring, at least on the first day, of saying, okay, do I remember? It's like riding a bike. Like, do I remember all of these things? Like, okay, the panels are this way. I need to get my badge at this place, and where was this, or where was that again, or like, so. It was a little bit of that on the first day. I don't know how you felt about it, like, because this is your first comeback too.
Yeah, I mean, no, I figured it was gonna be something like that. I mean, it's nice, if you're bumping into people, just seeing how they are, and just getting to hang out a little bit, and but it's just nice experiencing what Awesome Con has to offer. I mean, I'm still amazed, like, they were able to get the guests still, and like I said, it's not back to how it was before, but they're wearing masks, there's little plexiglass. We saw, I saw Carl Weathers, he was signing autographs, Christina Ricci, and William Shatner. Bumped into Marlene. Shout out Marlene. She got a photo of William Shatner. And I know, I mean, I haven't seen Christopher Lloyd or George Takei up here yet, but I know on Sunday, I think they're doing the panel, the Back to the Future one at least.
Okay.
You know, so that would be cool, but I don't know, maybe you'll check it out. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. You know, the panel we covered, that the Mjolnir one, I mean, there was a good amount of people there. And then the one after that, they had some guy who wrote a pilot for, was it Star Trek? Was it Deep Space Nine? I think he said.
I think yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he wrote this pilot and sold it for a ridiculous amount of money, and they never made it, or the episode he wrote. And I'm like, hey man, you know, that was pretty cool hearing that. But yeah, I mean, just seeing that, you know, they still have these panels going on. People are excited to go and participate. You still have the celebs signing autographs and taking pictures, and then also like all the vendors. I mean, just seeing, you know, all the amazing artwork, comics. I mean, you know, you guys saw that if you were watching, you go back. Look
Shout out to Equilibrium.
Equilibrium, yeah, they showed us, they did a demonstration with their backpacks. Pretty amazing. It's so funny because like you think, why are they selling backpacks at a con? But come on, if you see,
check them out, guys.
All the equipment we're bringing, or like if you're going to any con, like you're gonna want to have a good backpack that's comfortable, and it was actually pretty cool how he showed it, how he broke it. He's like, you could put 3 laptops in there, and you can put Kevlar in there. What else? There was, and then we had the Farpoint interview.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Just, you know, seeing that booth. And then also shout out to Phantom Comics. We were, you know, talking to the owner. That was good. You know, represented DC. But yeah, you know, we bumped into Julian.
Yeah, shout out Julian. Shout out Julian Little.
Chris, you know, obviously Chris, he was there.
Chris Cabone. I mean, you know, you guys know Chris, our con connoisseur. He has been here. He'll be here tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of familiar faces. You know, the like I said, the dynamic of people navigating social distancing to, you know, say hi to friends and figuring out for each other like what they are cool with doing. Yeah, and
I'll say, and I'll say lastly, people didn't slack with like I said, with the cosplay game. I mean, I saw probably like 5 or 6 people dressed up in different Mandalorian suits. Which is amazing, and they were quality. Yeah, it was. I mean, you had the red one, you had the blue one, you had the regular Mandal, and then a few Boba Fett's, and the funny, ironic part of what seems to be popular is a lot of people wearing the variant shirts from like the Time Variance Authority. How ironic, you know, pretty hilarious right now, man. There's a variant going on.
Anyway. But we were talking. I will say this: we were talking offline about. We're surprised, especially considering that it just came out like a couple of weeks ago, that we didn't see more cosplay from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I mean, I saw a lot of Harley Quinn, but I didn't see. I mean, that's a given. I didn't see
Bloodsport or Peacemaker or King Shark or Polka Dot Man. I'm sorry, yeah,
Starro. So
we did see
with a Starro face.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
we saw a face hugger, but
not a Starro.
Yeah, I'm surprised. So maybe we'll see it at the other cons.
Maybe
the San Diego one if you go to that. But anyway,
maybe.
But yeah, man, good time. Just it's good to know that they're going on. These cons are still going on, and I know if I don't make some of the other ones, at least like maybe New York. I don't know. You probably maybe I might make that one.
Yeah, we'll be in New York. That'll be Baltimore, maybe. New York.
I know you're going to San Diego. You're going to try and go to San Diego.
We'll see about San Diego. Like it's still up in the air.
Or at least next year. Next year, San Diego.
Yeah, for sure. So. Now, with that being said, guys, now we are now at the tail end. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this in-person masked edition of This Week in Review. As always, I'm your host, Brandon Troy, and I'm here with
Jerome Bourgeois, co-host, co-founder.
Cool. And where can they find you, man?
Yeah.
Drop all those links.
So obviously you can find me at JWBourgeois21 on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow, subscribe to us on our Movers and Shakers, Movers Shakers Unlimited on YouTube, and on Twitter and Facebook. We're at Move and Shake UNLTD. And if you want to be a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/Movers Shakers Unlimited.
All right, cool. Yeah. So yes, the Patreon link, which you can check right here if you want to again, enjoy, you enjoy a lot of our content and you want to assist in all the goings on that happens here at Movers and Shakers Unlimited. As I said, we have some cool perks for those of you that want to be Patreon supporters. As I mentioned before, I'm your host Brandon Choi, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. You can find me at Brandon Choi ENT on Twitter and Brandon Choi _ENT on Instagram. With that being said, again, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll see you soon.
And we'll
Peace.
see you next week. We're gonna see you in another location.
Hey, later.
All right, peace out.